Hi guys, this is Samantha K and this is the Samantha K Experience. Well guys, I have to say I know I've been away for a while. I took a brief hiatus. It wasn't intended, but I kind of sort of like had moments where I wanted to record something, but I just never really had the chance to sit down and actually do anything in regards to the show. But I'm here now, so I'm happy to be back doing this after a few episodes that I've done so far. I think everything is I'm starting to find my little niche, so to speak. All right, so with that being said, today's episode we're going to be focusing on the aftermath that is Wrestlemania Backlash. Yes, you've heard it correct, folks. For those of you who are wrestling fans, I am going to be covering the Wrestlemania Backlash. So basically, WWE had decided that after WrestleMania, we needed to have a Backlash. Now, Backlash is usually a show that's just, by itself in name. It usually follows after the show of the Immortals, which is WrestleMania. So what they did was they decided to, I'm guessing that they went with the idea that they were going to say, hey, this is just layover from what happened with WrestleMania. And for me personally, I really and truly didn't see any of that. Like, if it was one of those things where there was like a continuation from things that happened at WrestleMania, I would have been okay with it. But as far as storyline wise goes, I don't really think or know for sure that any of the things that they did tonight had any like layover effects from WrestleMania 37. Okay, so the show started and they had about 6 matches or 7 matches in total for the entire program. On the pre-show, we had only 1 match. I noticed that they started cutting down the matches now on the kickoff show. So they had Sheamus and issuing an open challenge for a chance for someone to beat him in a non-title match, for his United States Championship. So basically what he did was he came out, he started speaking, and he said he's going to open a challenge to anyone in the back who wants to fight him. And basically, if they beat him in a non-title match last night, that they will automatically get the opportunity to face him for a title match for the United States title. I thought, in fact, that this was stupid because it was one of those things like, well, why don't you just fight the guy for the title? Like, why don't you just have the guy challenge you for the title right then and there? Why wait and prolong it for another match? Like, this is kind of stupid. But I digress. So anyway, who happens to answer the call? Ricochet comes out. Haven't seen Ricochet in quite some time, honestly, for me, because like I tell you guys previously, I don't really watch Raw and SmackDown like that anymore. I don't have 5 hours to dedicate my life in a week for WWE, let alone anything else really. But here I am sitting here watching this 4-hour show, right, on a Sunday. Could have done anything else, but hey, you know what? It's whatever. So Ricochet comes out, and I'm honestly like, wow, okay, haven't seen you in a while. So Ricochet comes out. He's not wearing any of his ring gear. He has on black jeans and I'm thinking dress shoes. So he goes and he answers Sheamus's open challenge. I'm like, okay, whatever. So the match was all right. I think the match went on for about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Some good moves on some aerial moves, like I think it was like a moonsault. I think it was a springboard moonsault combination that Ricochet had done in the ring. He's very impressive as a wrestler. So the match was okay, but I don't really think it really amounted to much in the end. But what he did in the end was he stole Sheamus's hat and his coat and just kind of did a little dap, and that was it. He did a little dance and stuff. It looked kind of really goofy, silly, kind of. Like, I don't know how we were supposed to take Ricochet seriously if he's doing all of these, sticking out his tongue and doing all these little, like, weird motions and stuff. But the match was pretty decent. The kickoff show didn't really provide much. It just pretty much did somewhat of a recap of what was going to happen, like what had transpired prior to the show, like what has been going on prior. But moving on, there was one thing I wanted to point out. There was it looked like there was a slight exchange between Sonya Deville and Kayla Braxton on the show. I'm not really quite sure if it was actually intentional or not, but it seemed that there was some little sass amongst the two of them in regards to Sonya's decision to allow Charlotte to be part of the match with Asuka and Rhea Ripley. So, it was something that I can't remember in context exactly what Kayla said, but it was something like kind of like, well, you're, aren't you kind of catering to Charlotte or something like that. And Sonya kind of gotten a little bit defensive. I think this is what she was referring to in that moment. But I remember at one point, her response was, you said 5 things already that I don't really agree with, and I could have said something to you about it, but I'm not going to say it, and I'm just going to keep it professional about how about we move on from there. So Kayla kind of felt like it kind of gave off that little feeling like there might have been some backstage thing that was going on between the two of them, or Kayla must have said something during the show at that point with the rest in front of the other panelists that offended Sonya Deville. Like I said, I don't even know if that was really if it was real or whatever, but it felt kind of heated. And they were like, okay, well, Kayla was like, okay, well, you know what, we're going to continue on, be professional. She kind of took that approach as a result of what was being said. So I don't know, that was interesting to say the least. I was like, well, what the hell's going on here? Are they beefing? I don't know. But yeah, that was one thing that I took away from the two things that I took away from the kickoff show or pre-show or whatever they call it. So now here's the main show now. We started off with the women's triple threat match with Charlotte Flair, Asuka, and the Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley. Now I'm gonna say the match was good. I overall thought that the women did a good job performing. Like I said, I'm not gonna really give you much in the way of spoilers, but I would say that the person that I thought would have gotten pinned, they did in fact didn't get pinned. I thought that they might have went with, the person that they went with, I thought that they would have went with a different choice in the triple threat match, but they didn't. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes in terms of the women, but it just seems kind of awkward when you have a triple threat match and you keep pinning the same, like, I don't know, something about it just seems rather off to me, but I digress. And like towards the end of the show, I'm gonna give you guys my feelings on that a little bit further. Okay, so I'm gonna give the match about 3 out of 5, 3.5 if you want to be technical. So yeah, I think that there was a lot of good things about the match. I know that Charlotte and Asuka and Rhea try to bring out the best of each other as competitors. So I think that was a good match to start off with. I kind of raised the eyebrow at first because usually I'm so used to Drew McIntyre coming out first when he has these pay-per-view matches. You know, his matches usually start first, but it didn't. So I'm glad that the women had their chance to showcase what they're all about. All right, so the next match on the card, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry, I've been trying to remember all the matches in actual sequence, and I don't know, my brain is just like, it's not having it. It's really not having it today. So okay guys, so the next match, I'm sorry about that. All right, so we're not really gonna go into actual order of anything, but I know that I just gave you the triple threat women's match. So we also had a match with the Dirty Dogs versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. So what had happened was, in the pre-show, Dominic had gotten injured by the Dirty Dogs. They just he was walking backstage. I don't know where the hell he was going, but they never said anything. He was by himself and they just jumped him. We didn't even see Rey come out there to help him. That's what I thought was like pretty weird, because I was like, wait, where's your dad? Like, he's not even out there to make sure that you're okay, you know? Which is funny, because since Rey is so short and his son is so tall, I'm just kind of like, you know? It's funny. He's like a little kid. But all jokes aside, he didn't even, like, his son was like, well, he was trying to walk past Robert Roode, and I think Dolph went and headbutted him, and then they just started beating him up, you know, pretty badly. And then for some reason there was like, I think a couch that was wrapped up in plastic, and it just kind of like threw the couch on top of him. And a few officials came out, like Jamie Noble, and I think a couple of refs that came out, but I was just like, I don't understand where this is going. But this later on had ended up becoming a handicap match because of the fact that Dominic was injured and he was unable to compete. So Rey ended up in the handicap match against the Dirty Dogs, and he was doing pretty good until the numbers game came up and pretty much, you know, made things worse for him, since he had no one to tag out, you know, no fresh man in the corner to tag. So about maybe halfway into the match, or maybe 75% left in the match, Dominic comes out from the back. He's, you know, holding his ribs and everything, selling the injuries, and he gets on the rope. So Rey's like, sees him, and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, what, like, you're injured, you can't compete. Like, I got this. And he was like, no, Dad, I'm okay, just do what you gotta do, you know, essentially. So Rey takes a beating, doesn't want to tag in Dominic. You know, you can see Dominic kind of like really thirsty and hungry to get in the ring to fight. You know, he's doing the best that he can, and then finally, I guess again, the numbers game got to be too much for Rey, and then Rey eventually tagged in Dominic. So Dominic did his thing in the ring. He tried to fight off Robert Roode. So it just became like, you know, the numbers game kind of got up to him, and plus with his inexperience a bit. He's still a rookie, so it's still a lot for him to learn in terms of battling guys who are like veterans, like you know, Dolph and Bobby Roode. So I think that was, it was good. It was overall, I'm gonna give the match also a 3.5 because of just the effort and the tenacity of Rey Mysterio. You're getting beat up. You got, you're old and older. I shouldn't say he's old, but he's in his mid 40s now, and son is like 20, 22, 23 years old. So you're kind of like, is this going to be the first father and son tag team champions and stuff like that? So it was a little bit of history in the making of father and son first tag team of SmackDown tag team champions. I don't think it's the first father and son tag team champions, period. But as far as they put it on the record books, the father and son first SmackDown tag team champions. So that's not to say that they had never had a father and son tag team championship before, just on that particular belt and that particular show on SmackDown. All right, so I gave the match a 3.5. All right, so the next match I'm going to be covering is the Bianca Belair versus the Bayley match for the Women's SmackDown Championship. So here we have two defending for the SmackDown brand so far. So Bianca Belair is the new champion, and she won the belt last month against Sasha Banks, who held the belt for a few hundred days plus or so after she beat Bayley for the belt. Now, I gotta say, I do think Bayley is a really good competitor. She's a really good wrestler, and I like what's been going on. I give this match a 3 out of 5, also because of the fact that 3.5, because there was a botch at the end of the match where I think Bianca went to go and roll up her hair, her traditional braid, and wrap it around Bayley's leg, because Bayley had been cheating a couple of times in the match, and the referee caught her on the second time that she was cheating. He didn't catch her on the first when she tried to hold the ropes with her feet, but he caught her I think the second time when she was doing something. I forgot exactly what she was doing, but he caught her the second time around. So she basically, Bianca goes and wraps her hair around Bayley's leg, so it prevents Bayley from supposedly kicking out. But I think in the way how everything happened, that Bayley, I think Bianca's hand slipped, so she lost the grip of the braid, so it kind of had like a sloppy finish. So after the match, Bayley essentially was complaining that Bianca was cheating, and she wrapped her braid around her leg and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give the match a 3.5. I guess you guys could guess from my reaction to the whole thing that who might have won this match. So this is another 3.5. I don't really like finishes like this because it kind of makes things a little too crappy, and it makes the wrestling look like shit, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, it's whatever, man. Like I don't know. All right, so the next match on the card I'm gonna talk about is the match for the WWE Championship. This is Drew McIntyre, my boo. Well, not really my boo, but yeah, I love Drew. But as I've said before on the podcast, I love me some Drew McIntyre. I'm a sucker for Drew McIntyre. But anyway, the triple threat match consisted of Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, and the champion Bobby the Almighty Lashley. Now, who is the current WWE champion? I don't know if I just said that, but yeah, he is. So, this match was good, actually. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know I used to love Braun Strowman because he was a big dude and whatever. But when you have a guy who seems limited in the things that he can do, I mean, it's only so much you could do with a power slam, bro. I'm just sorry. I just like you pretty much got like one move. at least somebody else got like 4 moves. I remember we used to keep calling Cena 4-move Cena, but all essentially you got like 1 move. Like, you don't have anything special in your arsenal. Like, come on, right? But anyway, this match was good for what it was. I give this match a 3.5 again because of the fact that, well, I'm gonna say this. These 3 guys are huge guys. These guys are not cruiserweights. They're not even like, they're not in the 5 foot category, you know. These guys are like huge dudes. So that being said, I guess there's sometimes in certain situations, depending on who you're working with, you know, there might be some limitations. But to see Braun Strowman get picked up and double suplexed by Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre was a sight to behold. Like, they had him up there for a minute before they dropped him. And the fact that Braun had so much balance to stay up there was beyond me, because this dude is huge as hell. If I'm not mistaken, he might be bigger than both Bobby and Drew together, like, in weight class, I think. But this guy's freaking huge, and the fact that they was able to pick him up like that, like if it wasn't nothing. I mean, obviously they have to brace, but the fact that they picked him up, like, whoa, you know. And there's not too many guys that say that they could just pick Braun Strowman up like he wasn't nothing. Like, you know, the only last person that I know for sure that picked him up like he wasn't anything was maybe Brock Lesnar. And I was pissed because I was like, yo, I wanted him to decimate Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar caught him, and, you know, that was it for him. That time that they fought, I think it was a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was also for the Universal Championship. So yeah, this match was good, but the thing that I didn't like was the fact that I felt after a certain point in time, there was a spot where Drew threw Bobby Lashley into the LEDs, and Bobby Lashley had him in scene for like 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes in the match. So it was pretty much Strowman and Drew doing majority of the work. Not to say that Lashley wasn't doing work beforehand, but he was doing nothing in that space of time. Like, you know, the sparks went flying or whatever. They're trying to sell that he got injured or whatever, barbecued, roasted, I don't know. But he was basically like not there for like 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, you know, Drew is about to pin Strowman, and then out of nowhere Bobby comes back, and it's just like, oh, okay, you're still here. Like I don't like finishes like that, like things like, where were you this whole time? Like, you know, like I'm having like Okoye vibes from when she saw like Scarlet Witch, when she's like, where was she the whole time? Like, why? Where were you? Like, did you stop and take a bathroom break? Did you went and get like a soda, or I don't know, maybe a hot dog or something, chill in the back, you know, talk to a few people, you know, high-fived a couple of people while it took these 2 guys to practically murder each other, which in fact, it was pretty good. Like, I think Drew brought out the best in Braun, because it made Braun look strong. I know he runs fast and everything, but it made Braun look strong, and he looked like an opposing figure. So with that being said, I'm guessing from the way how this match's outcome went, that these 3 guys are going to probably meet again in the ring for the title one more time. And honestly, I think Drew has had 3 chances already to win back his title on his second title loss. So I don't know what's going to be for him, since he was feuding with Sheamus just like a couple of months back, like maybe a month or 2, I would say a month and a half to 2 months back. Maybe he could go after the United States Championship. I don't know. If he was on maybe SmackDown, he probably could have gone after Apollo Crews for the IC Championship. I don't know. But at this point in time, I think they're pretty much over, you know, him as WWE champion. I don't know, don't quote me yet, but hey, it is what it is. I don't know. So the next match I gotta talk about is Damian Priest versus the Miz match. Okay, so it was a lumberjack match, and the reason why I just paused there because I had to take a moment to reflect on what I saw last night. I I had a laugh sound effect to cue up my thoughts of the entire show, but I had used it in a pre-recording of the show before, but I had to scrap that version of the recording because it didn't come out as good as I had hoped, because I had to pause it for something else. And I gotta say, guys, like, watching what I saw in regards to this Damian Priest and the Miz match, oh my god, you talk about terrible. Like, what? Okay, so far I've given matches 3 out of 5. I gotta give this thing like a 1.5. Honestly, you failing. This is bad. And it's not fair because Damian Priest is actually a good wrestler. I've seen his work in NXT, and it's funny how every time you see somebody's work in NXT, and then when it comes to the main roster, everything just changes. Like, they're just involved with stupid ass storylines. So the show, basically, the WrestleMania Backlash theme was about zombies, and apparently Dave Bautista has a new movie coming out called Army of the Dead, and he's starring in it. So basically, he narrated the show for the beginning of the WrestleMania Backlash. So they showed like video packages with snippets from the movie integrated into wrestling, and I'm just sitting here, how is that, one meet the other? Like, you have something involving dead things moving around, and then you have everyone else in some type of form of spandex doing high-flying moves, or kicking and doing all this other stuff. I'm like, I don't see the connection here, only because of the fact that they were shilling Batista's stuff. And you know what, I'm not trying to knock Batista's hustle. I know he's a former WWE wrestler who now decided to do the career path and going into movies and such. So far, I don't want to say he's closely successful as The Rock, but because seeing some of Batista's movies, I didn't even know that he was making that many movies and he's starting that much stuff so far, but he has. I just want to say, like, he's really coming a long way. Like, he really enjoys performing in movies now. But I digress. Now, I kingdom him to be in the Gears of War movie if they ever had one, because he's a big Gears fan. I personally never played Gears of War, so I can't relate. But yeah, the match, honestly, I gotta tell you guys, the Damian Priest match in the Miz, I honestly know. If this was like, it felt more like this should have been on a SmackDown episode or a Raw episode. It was just bizarre, and the way how it ended, somebody pretty much gotten eaten to death by zombies. I can't begin to describe the level of foolishness that my eyes encountered while watching this. Like, the stupidity. You know what? I'm just gonna put a pin in this, and then I'm gonna give you all my thoughts about the entire show after I go down the list. And finally, we have the match that I think a lot of you were waiting for. The Roman Reigns versus the Cesaro match for the Universal Championship. I gotta say, this one, I think to date was probably Roman's best match out of all of them. I think Cesaro really brought his A game last night with what he damn, he took it to Roman. Like he made Roman work. Like I honestly feel like he really and truly was a real challenge for Roman last night. I don't know what's gonna happen with either of these individuals at the end of it, but I gotta give this match a 4.5. I honestly think, like, with Cesaro's tenacity and his perseverance, it's like he's just very strong, and I keep saying, like, he's a beast. I mean, yeah, he's like a really strong guy, and he's been so overlooked for so many years, and I can't understand for the life of me how the hell Cesaro never won a world title, not even once. Like, it's just beyond me. Like, it's beyond ridiculous at this point that he would have lost, or not even lost, but never won. He's been a tag team partner. I think he might have been a Intercontinental Championship maybe a time or two, or even United States champion, but I don't think I've ever heard him being like anything beyond that. But yeah, Cesaro was really, really, really good. And I mean, I had goosebumps. I remember I was texting a few of my friends. I was like, yo, I got goosebumps watching this because it was intense. It had me like, wow, this guy really and truly, he has a shot to probably taking down the head of the table. And this is one of the matches that I could say honestly that none of the Usos came and interrupted, because I think that they were building, where I think a lot of people were complaining about was that Roman always had Jay to come in there and interrupt the matches, even though in cases there were non-disqualified matches, no DQ matches. But Jay always managed to find himself not, he's always in there. So it was a good sign of relief and a breath of fresh air to see that he wasn't there. So Roman could pretty much work and, be the head of the table and get acknowledged for being who he is. So yeah, I think the match was really good. I'm not really yes and no surprised at the outcome of the match, but the stuff that came afterwards I just wasn't really a fan of. I just kind of felt like it was kind of unnecessary, but I'm gonna get to that in a split second. So that's pretty much my ratings for last night's Wrestlemania Backlash. Now to get to the fun part about what I think. Okay, so I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna cap everything and start everything off with the Sheamus issuing the open challenge during the pre-show. I don't have a problem with a wrestler issuing an open challenge, even if he was a non-title holder. If he had issued an open challenge to just fight them or something, I typically don't have a problem with that, because it tends to showcase maybe someone that hasn't been utilized properly and haven't been seen properly on TV for quite some time. So it gives the audience a breath of fresh air, so to speak, to see somebody new in that spot. So Sheamus issues this open challenge to anyone who beats him in a non-title match last night to earn the opportunity to fight him for a title match. That's dumb. Why don't you just put up the goddamn title and then fight somebody for it? Let's put it this way. How many times have you had title holders issue an open challenge for a title and put their title on the line, and then all of a sudden the person catches them in the schoolboy, beats them, and then now we have a new champion? I kind of miss those days, because as much as people complain about stuff, and people love to complain, I'm gonna tell you this: I'd rather see that than to sit here and open an open challenge in a non-title match for me to just get the opportunity to beat your ass in a title match. It's dumb. You might as well just put up the belt, and if I beat you fair and square and I win the belt, then that's it. You may or may not have a rematch clause for that title, but rest assured, if I beat you, I'm not looking to fight you again, because then at that point there's nothing for me to prove. I'm looking to move on, find somebody else to fight, and that's it. But they have this thing that they love to do, is when they get mad, they like to put triple threat matches up, and I don't want to see that. It's bad enough that Matt Riddle had to fight to get that US title from Bobby Lashley, and in the first place about 2-3 months prior, where I'm not sure if it's 2-3 months prior. I might be bad at math here. So the previous title holder, which was Matt Riddle, I swear to God, Matt Riddle only had that belt for about a month, if not that much. I think he had that belt for a month before they made him drop it. And at that, they made him drop it at WrestleMania. So imagine this. You win. You beat the previous person, the previous title holder, in another triple threat match that he ended up being involved in, to win that United States Championship. Because you pinned John Morrison to beat him, so that Bobby Lashley, he didn't beat Bobby Lashley. He ended up beating John Morrison to get the title, like 2 months prior. Only for y'all to make him drop the belt to Sheamus at WrestleMania 37 this year in April. And now you're going to tell me then you send him off to go and be a tag team with Randy Orton? This is bad booking. It really and truly is bad booking, and it's terrible. Now, if you're going to issue an open challenge, make it for the title, and that's it. You know how you make Sheamus look strong? By him issuing open challenge after open challenge after open challenge each week. I don't care if it's 5 to 6 weeks of him issuing an open challenge and he just bodies everybody and he wins. That's how you make your championship strong, your champion strong. By them having an undefeated streak. You don't go and sit there, have him get beat in a non-title match, but then have him win the title at a pay-per-view. It's stupid. It's dumb. Stop it. Get some help. Seriously. You guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. I'm not a wrestling bookie. I don't know how to book matches and everything, but I'm gonna tell you straight, that's not the shit that I would do. And then you got poor Ricochet coming out here. Who the hell remembers the last time they even cared about Ricochet enough to say he mattered? I'll wait. Ricochet is a former shell of himself. As far as I can see, I'm glad to see him, but why? Like, now you want him to be in the US title race for what? What has Ricochet done to earn that opportunity aside from just answering someone's call about an open challenge? That doesn't mean anything. Has he had any good win ratios in fighting? Like, at least with AEW, they have scorecards to show you how many wins a wrestler had and how many losses and draws and all that other stuff, because they make it so that the person has stats. It makes it more believable that way. I'm not going to give a title shot to somebody who, one, hasn't been barely wrestling on TV, hasn't done anything spectacular in months, hasn't been undefeated. I mean, I can understand if he was undefeated, if he fought 5 guys to get to Sheamus to get to the title, a chance to earn the title, like kind of like almost like a gauntlet. But if he had his own set of undefeated matches and stuff like that, I would have been like, oh shit, okay, fine, he did earn his right, because he beat 5 or 6 other guys before him to get to Sheamus. I would have perfectly understood that. But you guys don't do that. You build up these people, you push them out there for us to take the bait and say, hey, this is Ricochet, he's going to go after him in a non-title match for an opportunity to win the title. That's stupid. Why does Ricochet have to work twice as hard and for 2 matches just so he could possibly lose the second match anyway? Like, that's dumb. Like, you guys, like, honestly, WWE, you guys, I don't know if you guys ever listen to podcasts and stuff like that, but sometimes you seem like you do listen, depending on what we see on the TV or not. You guys got to do better with this. Stop this garbage about non-title matches for open challenges being non-title matches is just to earn an opportunity to fight the person for a title shot. That's stupid. It's dumb. Like, you gotta do better. If you got nothing for Sheamus, then don't put Sheamus on TV. Or if you're going to use Sheamus, use him in a proper way. He's supposed to be a heel. Let him do heel tactics. He was doing good work when he was with Jeff Hardy, but even then that became repetitive. Do better. Like, damn, that's all we ask you to do. Now, speaking of triple threat matches, I used to like them, but now I see like there's flaws in the lining of these triple threat matches. Okay, so Rhea Ripley won the championship from Asuka at WrestleMania 37. Asuka, up until that point and currently now, has been booked horrible. She pretty much was given the title because Becky Lynch got pregnant last year and was given the title shortly after I think sometime in WrestleMania. No, it was Money in the Bank, and the briefcase we thought was a contract, and unbeknownst to everybody, it turned out that it had the women's women's Raw title in it because Becky had to forfeit because she was pregnant. Now, mind you, she's had the baby in December. It's been a few months since she had the baby. She's working her way back to getting physically fit. But the whole point of the matter is, Asuka was gifted this title, essentially, to Becky herself after she won the women's Money in the Bank. And they did nothing for Asuka for the entire time that she got the championship. They ended up having her be part of our tag team with Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane ended up retiring. I'm guessing because she got hit too many damn times by Nia Jax. That's probably one of them. But she retired and then she became back into a singles competitor. You had her basically do nothing for months and months and months. It got to the point where, damn, I don't even really remember, like, I felt kind of sad for her. And maybe because it's the way, maybe because she's a little bit older. She's about my age range a bit. I think she might be 38 or something like that, 39 years old. So maybe they don't want to keep the belt on a champion that's deemed to be what they consider to be old. But for fuck's sake, man. Like somebody mentioned, you had Asuka undefeated for about 2 freaking years in NXT. She was a strong woman there, undefeated for mad long, until y'all called her up and murdered her on the main roster. Asuka's a prime example of what happens when you are at the top of your division, your field, and they completely get eviscerated once you move up the ladder. And she's not the only one. But I digress. Now, I mentioned the triple threat match for the women, the Raw Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley is another prime example of wasted talent. You guys had nothing for Asuka to go into WrestleMania with. Had nobody feuding because you guys decided to go and do things to Charlotte Flair, which I'm going to get to that in a second about Charlotte Flair. Let's go back to the videotape about a year before when we had no audience for WrestleMania 36 out in Tampa with the same pirate ass fucking team. I said team. Theme, excuse me. You guys went and said, okay, so Rhea Ripley was, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't she gonna fight Charlotte for the, what was it, the Raw Women's Championship, or was it the NXT Women's Championship? I forgot which one of the two. So the best bet would have, you think common sense would dictate that they will put the belt on Rhea Ripley, right? What instead they did was let Charlotte beat her. And from the moment that Charlotte beat her, you could kind of sort of see Rhea Ripley go on a decline. So she quietly went back to NXT, had whatever going on there, because I don't really watch NXT, kind of went into obscurity. And then out of nowhere, magically, she pops up and she ends up challenging Asuka for the women's title for WrestleMania. This woman, you buried and killed her last year. A year ago, you murdered her, pretty much. And now all of a sudden, now come a year again, she's awarded the Raw Women's Championship because of what? What did Rhea Ripley do to earn that? She lost to Charlotte Flair last year and had been in a fucking slump ever since. What was the point? I'm sure she probably won a few matches on NXT, but at that point, you got beat by Charlotte. There wasn't really much else there for her to do. Like, it sickens me, like how they think with some of these superstars. Like they just think, oh well, we're just gonna have you lose and that's it. Like, you guys didn't even have her do anything special beyond that. And if I'm not mistaken, then they put Charlotte in a program with Io Shirai and oh god, I don't know if it was Rhea again or Bianca Belair. I think it might have been Rhea again, and a triple threat. And then you had Io pin the other person and not Charlotte. I don't know what's going on with Charlotte, but they tend to do this thing where if it's a triple threat match, nobody wants to pin Charlotte. The other person ends up getting pinned and that's it. Even if you looked at the WrestleMania triple threat match between Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte, who the hell got pinned in that one? It sure the hell wasn't Charlotte, it was Ronda. In fact, I made a whole big stink that I don't think Ronda's arms were fully pinned down when Becky beat her. And that's why we've been waiting for the long-awaited match between Ronda and Becky, because of the fact that majority of people want to see them go and fight. And they were doubly pissed when they found out that they put Charlotte in it, because Charlotte had no business being in that match. And the only reason why they put her in there because they felt that she needed the star power. You already had the baddest woman on the planet and the last kicker, the man. Why the fuck did you need to add Charlotte into this match? Now, this is going to go into my point. Now, currently, Charlotte was supposed to go and fight Asuka at WrestleMania 37, but because the company decided, hey, let's go and run a test on her. Rumor has it that the test showed that her hormone levels were, I guess, high or whatever, so they assumed that she was pregnant. They told her she was pregnant and she got automatically pulled from any type of work whatsoever. And then, which I find really messed up, regardless of how I may feel about Charlotte or whatever the case may be, they did this thing where they pulled Charlotte out of the title contendership, only to tell her she's pregnant, and then she goes and takes 3 pregnancy tests, according to, I think that's what she said, and they all come back negative. She's not pregnant. So that leads into question. Then I'm hearing, oh, she has COVID. But I'm like, how sis got COVID, but she out here partying up with her fiance Andrade? So how was that actually her having COVID? You sitting here having a good lifestyle, and obviously you're well enough to move around. You're not in quarantine. So what are you talking about? She has COVID. That's why I thought, like, I don't know if it was true that she had COVID, but I just felt like, please don't lie about stuff like that, because that's bullshit. People have died, and this is why I say why I feel like this company is full of shit. One, you don't know what her situation with Andrade was or is, because you don't know if they might have been planning to have a family or putting it on hold or something until they get married, because the two are engaged. So one, you lied to her and told her she was pregnant, or you got the test showed that she was pregnant, and even after she showed you that she wasn't pregnant, you still didn't put her back in the show. Why was that? Then on top of it, you turn around and said she had COVID. Do you understand the implications of saying that your superstar has COVID if she didn't have COVID? Because right there, you just proved that you might be lying on 2 accounts, 2 personal accounts. And as a woman, I'm going to tell you right now, if you came and told me that I was pregnant with child, and I go to my fiance or my husband and tell him, hey, honey, I'm pregnant. And then I go and I say, you know what, let's just go, and we both say, hey, you know what, let's just go and get the confirmation, and I go and take a pregnancy test after pregnancy test after pregnancy test. There's either 2 or 3 reactions that I'm going to feel. One, either relieved that maybe it wasn't the best time for us to right now to have a kid. 2, I'll probably be a little bit sad at the fact that, it didn't happen. Or 3, I will be very pissed off, because you guys are supposed to be checking and making sure and double checking. And even after the woman brought in evidence that suggests that she wasn't pregnant, y'all still kept her off the damn show anyway. So what was the point in that? It ended up having her to sit back, watch Asuka have one of the most unnecessary and boring matches of her life with Rhea Ripley. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that match at WrestleMania 37 between the two of them wasn't all that good. It was kind of boring, and on top of it too, it didn't really feel like it needed to be, because Rhea was forced into that situation. You could have gotten almost anybody else on the women's locker room. I mean, hell, isn't Shayna Baszler isn't Shayna, I don't know if Shayna is on Raw, but I think Shayna's on Raw. I mean, damn, y'all have so many opportunities with some of these women on roster that you don't use. Instead, you got them out there forced to do TikToks and all sorts of stupidness on social media, rather than sitting there training and hoping for something. Then again, if I'm not being utilized, I guess TikTok will be my best friend too. By the way, shout out to Naomi, because Naomi got some real good dance moves, and I'm not hating on her for doing TikToks and stuff, but Naomi could do her thing, and she's a damn good wrestler. So shout out to Naomi. Trinity Fatu is awesome, guys, and horribly underutilized, and deserves so much more than what she's getting. But I digress. What I'm saying is, you guys made Charlotte think that she was pregnant. Then you guys gonna go and say, hey, she got COVID. Now, these might be all rumors, so we don't really know what fully happened. I'm gonna say this. If you lied and said that this woman had COVID, y'all are really, really full of shit. And honestly, I will never ever contribute to anything financially with the WWE ever again. Because countless amounts of people have died from COVID. So if you lied and said that she got COVID just to pull her off the show, y'all are beyond ridiculous. But I'm just saying, these both things are just rumors, but it doesn't make you look good in any type of light. But I could probably understand why they did the things that they did, because Andrade had asked for his release just maybe a few weeks prior to WrestleMania. He finally got his release shortly after the previous pay-per-view before WrestleMania. I forgot what is it called already. I think it was Elimination Chamber, if I'm not mistaken. He got his release from there, if I'm not mistaken, the same night of Elimination Chamber. And here you guys go. He starts criticizing the company, says a few things not so nice about it, and he's also making vignettes for when he decides to go to, I think, AAA wrestling after his 90-day clause is up, which I think is going to be up in maybe a month or two, I believe. So it could have been just them being petty and pulled her out for no apparent reason other than just for the sake of pulling her out because of the fact of what he said, because they seem to be petty like that. Just ask Mickey James and her husband. They're really fucking petty like that. That company's really petty. Like, if you have a significant other that happens to do something in the company that the company does not like, watch how they treat their other significant other. Ask Zelina Vega and her husband, where's Aleister Black? Cutting vignettes on SmackDown somewhere after how many months of being off TV? How many months of not being utilized properly? How many months? And I happen to really like Aleister Black. Like, I don't want to say he was the next Undertaker, but shit, man. I mean, he had almost just a good ass entrance as much as the Undertaker. I like the whole him rising up from his coffin type thing or whatever have you. Like, it looks kind of hot, and the sound effect it gives a little added bonus to it. Of course, then they nuded him and then turned him into Solid Snake. So should be hiding underneath a box somewhere with a question mark coming up from whoever's looking at the box. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I can't even begin into words the level of ridiculousness that this company is. So if they lied about that situation, shame on them. So here we go, which then goes into question what Caleb Braxton was talking about how Sonya Deville kind of, okey-doked Charlotte to be in a triple threat match. All because Charlotte said, be fair to Flair. Like, really? By the way, that would be a good campaign slogan if she was voting for, like, if she was like a mayor or governor or something like that, but I digress. Why should you be gifted anything? I mean, yeah, you was taking out the event for WrestleMania, which I guess in all fairness, it does make sense, but why should we give you anything now? What have you earned besides beating up the two people that was fighting in their previous bout? Why do you need to be here? But anyway, she was there, and as usual, she's put in a situation. Charlotte has this thing where she does this damn moonsault thing, right? And the moonsault looks so trash. Like, sis, listen, I'm not saying that you're a bad wrestler, even though there's some people who might disagree with that and say that you're terrible. I'm not gonna be one of those people, because I actually do think that you can wrestle. I just think that, there's something there. I think that because the way how it's perceived that you may not take bumps very well, or you don't like to sell anything, that and becomes a problem. Now, I watched that moonsault. She didn't hit, from the looks of it, she didn't even hit Asuka. I don't know what moonsault where you end up doing pretty much of a backflip and landing on your feet, and the back of your arms hits the person. I've never seen a moonsault do that before. I've never seen a moonsault do that before. Like, it just, no, just stop. And if I was a wrestler and I was looking at that type of stuff, like, criticizing my matches and stuff like that, I would look at that moonsault and be like, no, I'm gonna take that shit out of my program, because this ain't gonna work. If I can't do the move properly, I'm not gonna do it. Look at Brock Lesnar. He did a moonsault, excuse me, I think it was a shooting star press, and landed on his damn neck and nearly injured himself and Kurt Angle in the process. Do you see him doing that shit anymore? You see him doing any more of those moonsaults or shooting star presses? No, because he learned to adapt to what he can and cannot do. Besides, wrestling has changed significantly since the time that, Brock came in and then left and came back. We've had a lot of deaths. We had a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries attributed to then causing deaths. No. So jumping off the top rope and landing in an awkward way, and no. Just stop doing the moonsault, sis, and just stick to what you're good at. Just stop. You're not built to be high flying like that. Just stop. That's like me going up there and jumping off. I'm not built for all of that. I'm not even built to compete wrestling in competitive wrestling like that. It's just not my thing. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. I had it in my head and I completely lost it. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the Bianca Belair thing. Guys, it don't help if you are a babyface and you're using cheating tactics to win, because you're no better than the person that you're fighting. And if you want to prove a point, don't stoop to their level. It doesn't work. And the company needs to stop having garbage finishes like that, because I couldn't even tell whether or not Bayley won or she lost. It's not right. If you guys don't know for sure, then start the match over again and then have a winner decide that way. Stop having all of these shitty finishes, because it doesn't look right. Like, these fuck ups happen way too often nowadays. You guys need to stop. That's why when I thought at first that when even last year, even in WrestleMania, I didn't even know, it didn't even look like if I'm not mistaken, was it Sasha? It didn't even look like Sasha's arms were pinned down all the way. That's why I was kind of confused then too. I think it was involving Sasha or somebody else during the title match. Like, it just didn't look right. And I don't know. I really don't know. Stop having garbage finishes. And speaking of garbage finish, stop with the table scraps wins. That shit is not cute. You pull that shit with Drew McIntyre when he went and he was in the Elimination Chamber. He was already one and done. And then you go and bring in Miz to go and finish him off. No, excuse me. You bring in Bobby Lashley to go and finish him off. Then you bring in Miz to go and table scraps him and cash in the Money in the Bank by the way that he should have never kept and reinstated, because you guys were on some bullshit technicality with the Money in the Bank. But if you guys want to listen to me talk about that in a previous episode, you could go back to, I think, my WrestleMania or the Elimination Chamber podcast episode, and you guys could listen to that. You guys do too much with this whole table scraps win nonsense. There's no reason why in a triple threat match, two guys should be pummeling and living shit out of each other. One goes to pin, and one who's pretty much damn near fresh and clean come in and scoop and take the win. Just stop. That shit is not cute. One, you make your damn champion look like a pussy, that he can't fight properly, that he can't really be, excuse me using for language, but no, it makes him look like a pussy. Like he can't really and truly fight on his own. Not to say that he needs assistance from, his corner man or anything like that, or his manager, but it shows that he cannot hold his own in a match, aside from being in a singles match. It makes your champion look weak. It doesn't make him look any strong. It just makes him look like, all he good for is winning and winning his matches barely by putting in any effort. I mean, it's bad enough that you guys kind of sort of did that with him and The Miz. And The Miz ended up losing, he didn't even hold that belt for that long. Maybe, 2 weeks? Maybe? Before Bobby Lashley got it. And pretty much practically just destroyed him in the process. Stop with the table scraps wins. Nobody likes that. That's not cute. And not everything needs to be a triple threat match either. You guys could have just put Braun Strowman to fight Drew McIntyre. If Drew lost, then that was it for Drew until whenever, and then have Strowman go and fight Lashley for it, and then have Lashley beat him. That would have made him look strong. But you guys keep putting in people in triple threat matches, and for what? Nobody want to keep seeing triple threat match. It just shows that you guys have no creativity and you're boring. You guys even look like you bore yourselves. That's how bad it is. You guys look bored. And you guys need to change things up. 2, again, those damn camera angles. Whoever is doing it, stop with the camera angles. I don't need to see you shaking the camera while somebody's getting punched. That's not how this works. 1, you might be making people nauseous at home who is viewing the show. You don't know who may be suffering from some type of ailment at home while watching this, and you're just shaking the camera. What's wrong with you? Stop that. That's annoying. Why do I gotta see all around Roman punching behind Roman, side of Roman, the other side of Roman, in front again with Roman, and then the camera shaking? Why? Next thing, you're gonna be an overhead shot of him punching. Why do we have to do that? That's stupid. You guys are doing way too much. And it doesn't even come off as being creative. It just comes off as being stupid and annoying. It's just only irking people who don't like stuff like that. Oh my Jesus. I'm going to talk about the Damian Priest and Miz match. Yo, first off, to hell with y'all and these goddamn zombies. I only noticed the zombies when I was watching behind Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. There were 2 zombies on the screen, and I was like, oh shit, they're zombies. So I screenshotted it the next time I saw them. But then another time I saw it was actually 3 on the thing, because the camera panned out a little bit wider for behind Graves and whoever. So I know I don't even know what to say, guys. This was by far the worst part of the show. Is the worst part of the show. You guys could have kept the zombies out of it. Could have had regular superstars dressed up as lumberjacks, or even just left it at that. It was Damian Priest's stipulation to have lumberjacks, and even then, you guys, he was even fighting the zombies too, because it was like, yo, I said lumberjacks, I ain't say lumberjack zombies. What the hell? But he made the stipulation that it was a lumberjack match. First of all, we never put Miz in a lumberjack match, because quite frankly, why add more nonsense to the Miz as it is? I mean, his offense is shitty. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has really wonderful mic skills. If it was scale of a 1 to 10, I would probably give him about a 9.5. He's really damn good. Aside from John Cena, is really one of the best talkers on the damn thing, on the shows. But he also has charisma. But his offense looks weak. And you guys want to pick him to play fucking Johnny Cage in the next Mortal Kombat movie? This guy can't even kick properly, furthermore. And don't tell me, oh, well, Sam, there's a difference between kick in wrestling as opposed to a kick being thrown as a martial artist. He's not a martial artist. If he is, he needs his work, because I can't see him not being having a stunt coordinator or a stunt double doing all his martial arts moves for him. No, I don't want him to be damn Johnny Cage, because I like authentic actors who actually know how to kick and punch properly and don't look like they're afraid to hurt their opponent. This dude looks like he's afraid, that his offense, like he doesn't want to hurt the person. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should go out there with the intent of hurting your opponent, but come on, man. His offense looks weak. And just because you add the figure 4 leg lock in there, you took a page out of Ric Flair's book, doesn't make you look like you're a superstar. It really doesn't. Don't get me wrong, like I don't think The Miz is a bad guy. I really don't. I just think that his offense is poor. And then you guys want him to go into a movie to pretend to be a martial artist / actor. Yes, he's an actor already, because he's done The Marine. I mean, they're not really award-winning movies. They never win an Oscar for best special effects or anything, or best picture, or even best actor. But come on, man. If you want to make somebody look authentic to be like Johnny Cage, at least make him actually be a martial artist. At least when the original Mortal Kombat movie, at least Lyndon Ashby is a legit martial artist. He looked the part, and he even sounded the part. That was him throwing punches and kicks and shit. It wasn't no goddamn stunt double. I mean, they might have had stunt doubles along the way to do certain activities that he may not be able to do. But you willingly want The Miz to go in there and they'd be like, but Samantha, he could train to learn to do all of this stuff that you're complaining about. And you know what? You might be right. He might be able to do all of that. But in the end, I don't care. His offense still looks trash. That's like me going and say, hey, I'm going to go and do some sparring. And then every time the person comes and tries to hit me, I'm just backing away from them. Or I give him some lame hit. It doesn't even look like it's doing anything. I've seen his punches and kicks. And I'm like, bro, why does some of your kicks and punches look like you just give up on life? Like, just stop. No. Find somebody else to play fucking Johnny Cage. You guys want me to base this off of, oh, well, because he talks good and he's this other third and this other third. He fits the persona. No. Just stop. No. Just go away with that. I don't want to hear no more talks about it. I don't want to be here watching wrestling and hearing it brought up by Corey Graves or anybody else and their mother about, oh, whether or not he should be picked to play Johnny Cage. He'll make a great Johnny Cage. No, eat a dick. That's what I say. Eat a dick. Because I don't want it. And maybe I might be in a small majority of people that may not want it, or maybe in a 1 percentile that does not want The Miz to become Johnny Cage. I swear to all I love that if I ever see him anywhere near Mortal Kombat in any capacity, I am going to continue to not support Mortal Kombat or anything part of that franchise ever again. Because I'm pretty sure that you could look down and Satan and find him in the depths of hell between Satan's butt crack and his balls to find somebody else almost as better or equally as better and more better than him. So stop. Just stop your nonsense. And that's all I gotta say about The Miz and that stupid performance with the zombies and all that other stuff. Like, you guys, if you guys watch the show and you know what I'm talking about, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who's listening to this, watch what happened at the end of the Damian Priest and The Miz match and tell me if that was even worth anything. Then you got Johnny Nitro that pretty much went into the upper room and never came back. He got dragged away by zombies too. I'm just sitting here like, so technically, aren't these guys dead? Like, if he's dead, I don't never want to see them again on TV. Let that be consistent. If he's dead and devoured and he's part of a zombie crew, then I will understand that. I was like, well, shit, at least, I mean, this storyline sucks, but at least they're consistent. Stop. The shit is not funny. It's not cute. It's not funny. If anything, I just cringed and just wanted it over, like, pronto. As far as the Ray and Dominic thing, I wanted to mention, it was a slight thing I wanted to mention about the whole Bobby Roode thing. I know they prefer him to be called Robert Roode, but no. He was Bobby Roode when he was in TNA with my man's James Storm, and it was called Beer Money. He was always gonna be Bobby Roode to me, no matter how many times he cut his hair or whatnot. He's going to be Bobby Roode to me. I just miss him with the beard a little bit, and that porn stash gotta go. He looks like a 70s porn star. Like, just that, no. I know they're trying to model him after Rick Rude to some capacity, but he's not Rick Rude. Hell, their names don't even spell the same. The last names don't even spell the same. Bobby Roode is 2 O's and Rick Rude is 1 U. No, they don't even spell the same. So stop. You guys are trying to come up with bullshit comparisons for two people who are obviously completely different. There's no point. Ravishing Rick Rude was oozing sex appeal and all that other stuff when he was to like wind up his waist. I don't see Bobby Roode really doing none of that. I mean, I could be wrong, but if anything, Bobby Roode kind of came off like a Ric Flair knockoff with his robe. How am I supposed to, like, I don't know. You guys tell me. Like, maybe I'm wrong for being nitpicky with these names, because you're trying to make names sound official, but they just come off being stupid. Just stop. It's not cute anymore. You guys make so much stupidity with these superstars' names. Like, I just don't get it. Like, certain names that just sound like some regular person off on the street. Like, what is that? Why do people need to have first and last names that sound like two first names? That's like me saying, hey, I'm a superstar. My name is Samantha Katrina. And da, da, da. Like, what? Like, what are we doing? Or Ashley Chelsea, or what is this? Moonbeam Williams, or Skylar McGillicuddy, I don't know, stupid names. Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but no, it's just blatantly stupid, you know. And I don't know, guys. I think that's it for me. I think the major part of it, I just want to say before we go, Roman and Cesaro was pretty excellent. Cesaro, I don't know what's gonna happen to him. I don't know what's gonna happen to Roman. I love me some Cesaro. I want to see more of him. I want to see what else he can do. And by the way, shout out to Cesaro with his freaking mouth guard that had vampire teeth. That shit was hot. Like, I liked it because he opened his mouth and I saw fangs. I was like, wait, Cesaro got fangs now? And I was like, oh snap, that's his mouth guard. So shout out to him, you know, for that. And his ring gear. So I like that, you know. And that's all I got, guys. Thanks for bearing with me for this overwhelming episode of Wrestlemania Backlash. This show should have never happened. And honestly, some of these matches should have never happened. Some of these things that happened on the show should never have happened. Like, who the hell does zombie? Like, what? Like, what? Huh? I don't know. Zombies? I don't... whatever. Yeah. I'm just stumped, guys. Well, this is Samantha K, and this is the Samantha K Experience, and I am out. See you next time, guys, for episode 15. Peace.